Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are going to lay the groundwork for your dream outdoor space. We're going to break down how to build the perfect masonry patio, and we're going to turn those big, maybe kind of overwhelming plans into something you can totally tackle. Okay, so here's the game plan. First up, why even go with masonry? Then we'll get into the fun part, choosing your materials. After that, we'll walk through the actual installation, step by step. Then we'll cover designs and upkeep, and of course, the big one. We'll break down the cost. All right, first things first. Before we get into all the nitty-gritty of bricks and pavers, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's talk about the why. What are we really trying to create here? It's about creating a true outdoor oasis. We're not just talking about a spot to stick the grill, right? This is a real investment, not just in your home's value, but in your quality of life. The goal is to build a durable, beautiful space that fits your lifestyle perfectly. Now, this is interesting. The source material points out something really important, and honestly, it's a game changer. Your first big decision might not actually be about brick versus stone. It's about who you get to do the work. Think about it. Hiring a local pro means you're getting someone who gets your local climate, who knows the soil like the back of their hand, and who's up on all the local codes. And hey, you're supporting your local economy. It's really a win-win. Okay, let's get to the fun part. One of the biggest, most exciting choices you'll make. What's it going to be made of? This is what you'll be standing on, looking at, and living with for years. It really sets the whole tone. So usually you're looking at what we can call the big three. You've got your classic brick, your super elegant natural stone, and then the incredibly versatile concrete pavers. So let's put them side by side and see how they really stack up. All right, so as you can see, each one has its pros and cons, right? There's a trade-off. Brick, it's a classic for a reason. It's durable, has that timeless look, and it's usually pretty friendly on the wallet. Natural stone, well, that's just in a league of its own. Every piece is unique, it's gorgeous, but yeah, it's going to cost you more and it's trickier to install. And then there are pavers, kind of like the chameleon of the bunch. You can get them in almost any style or color imaginable, which is awesome, but you might have a bit more upkeep to do over time. And this really hits the nail on the head. At the end of the day, there is no single best material. It's not about that. The right choice for you is going to be the one that hits that sweet spot between your budget, what your house looks like, and, the vibe you're going for. Okay, so you've made the big decision, you've picked your material. Now what? How does that big pile of stone or bricks sitting on your driveway actually become a beautiful patio? Let's walk through it. I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. It really boils down to 4 main steps. It all starts with the design consultation. That's where you and your contractor get on the same page. Step 2 is probably the most important part, the site prep and foundation. Seriously, getting this right is what makes a patio last. Then, of course, they lay the materials and build the thing. And finally, the finishing touches, a little cleanup, maybe some sealant, and boom, it's ready for you to enjoy. So, the patio is built. The heavy lifting is done. But now we get to make it yours. This is all about personalizing the space and, just as important, making sure it stays looking amazing for years to come. And this is where you can really let your personality shine. We're talking about adding things that take it to the next level. Think about built-in seating, a fire pit for those cool evenings, maybe some custom lighting. All these things transform it from just, a slab of stone into a real outdoor living room. It becomes a true extension of your house. Oh, and here's something you absolutely can't forget, the landscaping around it. A great patio doesn't just sit in the yard, it becomes part of the yard. When you weave in plants, maybe a little garden bed or a connecting path, that's when you get that seamless, polished look. It's what makes it all feel intentional and harmonious. And keeping it looking great, honestly, it's easier than you'd think. It's all about a simple little seasonal routine. Give it a good wash in the spring, maybe think about sealing it in the summer to protect it, keep the leaves off in the fall. Little things like that will go a long way in keeping it looking brand new. Okay, time to talk about the elephant in the room. The question every single person asks, how much is this going to cost me? Let's break down the bottom line. So before we just throw out a number, you have to understand what actually goes into that final price. It's not just one thing. It's really a combination of a few key factors that drive the cost up or down. You can almost think of it like an equation. There are 3 big things that determine the final price tag. First, and most obvious, is size. How many square feet are we talking? Second is the material you choose, because we already saw how stone is pricier than brick. And third is complexity. I mean, a simple square patio is going to be a lot cheaper than a curvy, multi-level one with a built-in kitchen, right? So to put some real numbers to it, let's look at these averages from the source material, which are based on New Jersey prices. You can see right away that natural stone is the premium option, floating at the top of the price range. Meanwhile, brick and pavers are much more comparable and can be a more budget-friendly way to go. It just goes to show you how big of an impact your material choice has on the final cost. Now, these numbers are a great starting point. They give you a ballpark, but please remember this. The only way to get a real accurate price is to get a detailed estimate from a local pro, and make sure that quote breaks everything down for you: materials, labor, any permits, all that stuff. That way there are no surprises. So there you have it. In just the last few minutes, we've gone on a whole journey, haven't we? We went from maybe feeling a little overwhelmed by the process to feeling confident in your decisions. We've turned the idea of an empty backyard into a functional, beautiful oasis. And we've answered those big questions about cost and materials, giving you a clear path forward. You're totally equipped now to take this from just an idea to a real-life project. And that about wraps it up for this explainer. Think of it like this. We've just handed you the blueprint. We've walked you through all the key decisions. Your outdoor oasis is literally just waiting for you to build it. So the only real question left is, what's it going to look like?